Hello, back again, talking about the SMART study. I've discussed before in previous videos about the mental landscape and its involvement within stress management. Here is a diagram of what I've been discussing to give you a better understanding of how stress can manipulate our perceptual centers and henceforth our reality. Now, as we see here, we get input output of data exchange between the individual and our shadow perception reality. That shadow perception reality is this world of our sensory organs, basically our perceptions, though. What we perceive, what we understand. Now, we have to understand that our perceptual reality is a shadow perception of our true reality. Because we perceive things doesn't mean that necessarily means that is reality. There are greater perceptions going on. Henceforth, your dog or your cat are seeing their reality very different. Other animals very different. Even individuals or people see the reality very different. Now, this shadow perceptual reality is very fluid between individuals. Henceforth, you can tell one individual about something, they won't get it, and another individual will, or one individual can see something, another won't. To a greater extent, we can see psychics can pick up the greater esoteric situations or greater situations going in environments, ghosts, spirits, and stuff like that. Where other individuals who are more of latent psychic, or they may say non-psychic, but that is for discussion for another time. They may not perceive that situation. This leads to our shadow perception reality, because this is where data input output from our environment, which deals with our subconscious, because as we know, our subconscious has perception of its own as based to our conscious mind. Now, when thinking about this in terms of the individual, there are things that we could still be perceiving, but yet not still be perceiving in our shadow perception reality. Remember, perception is a gradient and not just a one thing, and it's different between different individuals. So something you might take into point, because reality shifts between the individual, body, and social community and environment. Each of these is so own separate different perceptual reality and reality in terms of the individual right here. Now, we have our lines of perceptual transference, where we move from the subconscious environment back to the data exchange of the input and output between our sensory nodes, between the information that's going on here. Now, as we stated before, things can be perceived here and necessarily not perceived here, but still being picked up. You may have your stress here, but be feeling the aspects of that stress here and not knowing why I'm feeling this way. Information can be picked up, but not necessarily conveyed to the individual. This is where we have our shadow perception reality is very fluid based on our sensory organs. And this you might want to keep in aspect when dealing with the mental landscape and the input-output of sensory data. Now remember, this is but one diagram when it pertains to the mental landscape. There are various other diagrams that pertain to different dynamics that are going on with this. So this diagram is not the only one to follow. There are various others, so don't get caught up just in this one diagram. Check through the other ones that are inside of the book, because there you will find different aspects pertaining to the mental landscape and the individual. This is just one aspect of a greater dynamic. So something to keep in mind when thinking about the mental landscape and stress management and the aspects of where that stress is originating from. Thank you again. Smart study.